I'm Joseph Fisher Schramm, and this is Now You Get It. I started an interest in music whenever I was very young. My parents listened to a lot of music, not any classic rock, so a lot of people are surprised whenever they find out that I know very little about, the standard Beatles, Pink Floyd, all of that. I have a very kind of hilarious gap therein, but I still had a lot of musical background and interest. And whenever I was 10, we were supposed to go into orchestra in elementary school, and that was right whenever the Feel Good Inc. single by Gorillaz came out. So I would listen to Feel Good Inc. every day, and that bass line, that was it. I wanted to play bass. I wanted to make sweet grooves like that. And at first, my parents said, "We have a viola. Can you play the viola?" And I cried the entire orchestra. And so they managed to get me a bass. And so I started playing bass when I was 10. And over the years, I played orchestra all throughout college, and I still do some classical gigs. Went to UTA for music, and have been able to play in all sorts of different styles from the people that I've met, and different instruments as well. So it's been very rewarding. It's been very fun. Never the same thing twice. Gunpowder Tea, the mixtape, is inspired by a lot of desert blues music, as it's often called. Bands like Tanati One and Mdou Mokhtar from Africa, and thinking about Hamza Eldin from Nubia in Egypt. And Gunpowder Tea is a video game taking inspiration from a lot of those places as well. The original game was me just messing with a free software called GB Studio. So if you go onto itch.io and look up Gunpowder Tea, you can see my first little learnings with this software. So the music was my attempt to combine some of my favorite video game soundtracks and inspiration with those cultures and their music. The path of promoting as an artist these days is very interesting. I'm not going to pretend like I know what it was like before, but I've learned the importance of the repetition of delivery and the importance of self-confidence. I am not necessarily a fan of social media. I think, like most things in life, it has its good and its bad, but the more that I've been comfortable sharing on social media the things that I feel great about doing and the work that I'm proud of doing with my friends, the more people realize that it exists. It's not an inherent bad to just share what you're doing, and the more that I've been comfortable doing that, any of those positive experiences that you feel like sharing will resonate with somebody. So the more that I've done that side of things, the more that I've felt comfortable talking about them with strangers, has allowed the art to grow as well, because that's what you need to run the business side of things. Being a band leader, being a project manager for all of these different ideas that I have and that I'm trying to help other people bring into life, I've realized that the art itself is not the way that you make the living. So there's the art side of things, and then there's the way that you make the living, which I would, for the sake of discussion, say the product. And so what I'm wrapping my head around right now more than ever is, I'm about to get married. By the time this comes out, I will be married. I can't be purely hedonistic living for the craft anymore. I have someone whose life is more important than mine in a way. So as much as we love the art and as much as we need to do it for our own sake, for my own sake, the way that it needs to be delivered needs to be sustainable. So the mental shift of realizing, hey, as much as I love this isn't the only solution to a long-term happiness and a long-term sustainability, has been a very interesting mental shift. And I don't think it detracts from the artistic process. I don't think it will make me any worse of an artist. It will just make me a more adult person, I guess. If I was approached by someone who did not play music and wanted to, I would think of the same thing that I tell my private students for double bass, which is we play music because we love music, and you should feel confident that you can make something that you want to hear. The next big projects that are set for public release are Gunpowder T's second demo. It is still made in GB Studio, but it's a lot stronger. A lot of learning has been done in the last 2 years. So even though it's fairly short and quite finite, it's a much better representation of what I would like the long-term world building process to be for this game. It will be free to play on itch, and you can just pop it on your phone and the Game Boy style interface will just pop in there. Thanks again to GB Studio. Not sponsored, it's just a really great little thing to mess around with making Game Boy games on. My personal music is on Bandcamp. It's on all of the standard digital streaming outlets. My production company is A Study in Expression. You can go to astudyinexpression.com to learn more about that as well. And if you enjoy what you hear, just thanks. I'm Joseph Fisher Schramm, and this has been Now You Get It.
Drinking down their own.
I'm trying to compliment my friend over here.
I'm sorry.
Could you die in another room?
Honestly, here we go.
Leave this in. I'm kidding.
All right, good.
Everyone's like, oh.